I will go ahead and get ready to rock out with a couple of these fan mock drafts as well. Oh, shoot, and my apologies on that. I did just see your super chat, James Skitka. Let me read that off real quick for you, man. But he says, Moats, shout out to your dad celebrating his birthday and to little Moats, the champ. I saw pics you posted. Much respect how you do this for us and still keep the work-life balance, respect, or peace and respect. Now, salute to you, James Skitka, man, from the heart, man. And yeah, man, Pops, man, the original gangster OG, Arthur Moats Jr. did turn the big 67 yesterday, man. It was dope as heck to talk to him, man. Always good catching him with Pops. Just like he had his little Darryl Green Washington Redskins jersey. He was super hype. You know, as I can tell you, man, he's old, like old school, just the Hogs, like Doug Williams is like favorite quarterback all the time. Like that's, you know what I mean, peak Washington vibes. That's him, man. So yeah, man, he did turn 67. And then, like I said, man, my middle girl, man, my baby girl did have her basketball championship game last night where she did win, getting some buckets, playing some defense, blocking some shots. I said, all right, baby girl, I sees you, little lady. I sees you. So, you know, salute to the team, man. Salute to the team. But with that being the case, man, I do want to tap into a couple of these fan mock drafts that you guys have sent in. So like I said, man, hit that like button one time for the culture, and don't forget to subscribe either if you are new to the channel. Like I said, man, got a couple of these we're going to talk about before we get up out of here. And like I said, man, let me know in the comment section how y'all feel, man. First one comes from the homie Heck Santy, and shout out to you, Heck Santy, bro. When I say mock drafts being submitted to moatswinners@gmail.com for a chance to have your mock draft on the screen like you see in live or on the website arthurmoats.com, Heck Santy takes it to heart, man. Heck Santy be sending them mock drafts. Boom, 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 boom. So this is your most like recent one at the time when I was, you know, preparing for the show. But Heck Santy in the first round goes Matthew Golden. Love that pick. He is definitely a wide receiver, man, to me that I am super fond of, man. He's definitely a guy to me that I think if you're trying to complement him with GP, I think works. If you were trying to, you know, go a different route, right? We could talk about with some of the different trade concepts, or, you know, if you were going to move on from GP or whatever, Matthew Golden to me is still one of those guys that you would want here. I think he helps us out in a major way. I love his down the grass ability, and the speed is there. You saw him, man, at the combine. 4.3 type of dude, man. Big body, big speed. Love that. He went in the second round with Travion Henderson. You know I like him, man. That's my second favorite big body running back in this draft. No disrespect to you, Mike Hood, but I like Marion Hampton a little bit more just because I actually got a chance to see it play against JMU, and it was cooking. It looked good, but also, man, like I said, man, I just think that he's a little bit more shifty with his run in comparison. But to me, man, Travion Henderson, if I can't get Omarion, I love this pick in the second right here. Alfred Collins, give me some of that D tackle. Give me some trench love, man. Love that, man. He could definitely play, man. Productive and athletic for the size that he plays at. The only thing I will say, he gets a little bit high at times. I like the double dip, though, man, in terms of Riley Mills and tapping into the offensive line, man, in terms of Carson Vincent. Obviously, Alabama A&M, smaller school guy, but you look at the athleticism, you look at the size, that looks good. I was asked about this guy earlier, and I was telling you about him because obviously with this first mock, Elijah Badger, I like his game a lot too. Very similar to Matthew Golden in terms of some of that down the grass, man, big play capability. We talked about how the just different quarterbacks that he had, and some of that due to the injuries that they had at the position, hindered his production. But to me, I think Elijah Badger at a different school with more consistent play, I think he's a guy that would be talked about a lot higher in this draft. But I like this a lot, man. And I even like at the end, you tap in and get me a quarterback. Now, I'm assuming we are, you know, locked in with either Fields, Russ, or a free agent in this, you know, exercise from Heck Santy with this mock draft. But if not, Tyler Show, of all the guys, I mean, if you're taking a quarterback at this stage of it, I'm looking for depth. I'm looking for somebody that could just come in and just be a part of it. So I don't hate that. And then lastly, man, going right back into the interior part of the offensive line, Joe Huber, I like him, especially to knowing that James Daniels is potentially going to be heading the market. Now I'm looking at Mason McCormick, Isaac Sayumalu, and I'm asking myself, man, well, where do I have more resources? Where can I get just more, you know, big athletes? And to tap in late in the draft like this to get Joe Huber, I think could definitely be a good idea. So I do like that Heck Santy. So for the audio only crowd, let me reread that. He went Matthew Golden in the first round, Travion Henderson, running back out of Ohio State in the second round, and Matthew Golden is the wide receiver from Texas. In the third round, he went Alfred Collins, the D tackle from Texas. Riley Mills was the D tackle from Notre Dame that he went with in the fourth. Then after that went Carson Vincent, offensive tackle from Alabama A&M, followed by Elijah Badger, wide receiver from Florida. Tyler Shaw, I don't know how you say his last name. Excuse me on that one. Quarterback out of Louisville was who he took late in the draft. And then the last pick that he had at 247 was Joe Huber, the interior offensive lineman from Wisconsin. All right. Ooh, now Mr. Pete Noriega, Rooney, says Matthew Golden is really overrated. He's not a fan. All right. Tito with the good vibe says Emeka is one of his favorites, though. Okay, but he's still showing love to Matthew Golden. All right. Respect. Oh, okay. And Pete said, Noriega, you got like 30 different names, so I keep calling you Mr. Pete and Rooney. This is Noriega we're talking about, all right? But he says that Matthew Golden had 4 good games. Dude's going to be a bust. I watched the tape, and he is overrated. Just fast. Keep it. Or he said keep it 100. A lot of young players at that stage are all just like that. I don't look at him and say, man, I need you to develop into something great. I'm looking at him and saying, bro, why can't you be what GP is right now? Oh, yeah. Because to me, I think he could do that. So that's kind of my thought process. I'm pairing him with that. You figure that thing out, and it gives me luxury. It gives me a little bit of leverage, but I'm also adding what I need to add. So I don't look at him as my main and my only. I'm looking at him as a part of, and at least I know you can do what that is doing in terms of big speed down the grass, go up and get that rock. So that's kind of the thought process with it from my perspective. But I definitely can see why you're a little bit skeptical of him as well, though. But remember, man, it's all right for these dudes to develop. Nobody's coming in as a finished product, because if they are that, then they're not going to last too long, man. You want these dudes to continue to keep getting better and keep getting, like I said, keep growing, man. But we will see, man, what he develops into. But I do like his size. I do like his ability to go down the grass, man. So we shall see. But shout out to the homie Heck Santy on this here first mock draft. Next one we got to talk about is Phantom TV. He was also a Matthew Golden fan. It looks like, man, we had back-to-back Matthew Goldens in the first round. I ain't peeped that, man. But shout out though. Phantom TV, he goes Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas in the first round. Talik Williams, big fan, interior D lineman from Ohio State. Shamar Turner, another interior D lineman from Texas A&M, tapping back into that. Well, we haven't been there since, was that DeMarvin Leal. Then from there, man, Zy Alexander, corner from LSU. Gotta love LSU corners, right? Then you got RJ Harvey, running back out of UCF. Do like that part right there. And I like the double dip as well, man. We'll get to that a little bit later in this here mock draft. But he goes Jimmy Horn Jr. That was like the third wide receiver, low-key, like fourth wide receiver out there in Colorado, man. Speedy, down the grass, can make plays, tough as nails as well. And then we obviously know pedigree as well, man, because of who his dad is. Like this one at 231, though, Jordan James, the running back from Oregon. I see what you did there, man. I like the double dip. So if that is the case, I am anticipating potentially moving on from Najee, just because I don't think we would bring Najee back, Jaylen Warren back, and draft 2 of these dudes. But I don't know, because this is Phantom TV's mock, not my mock. All right. And then last, man, tapping into the safety market, man, going with Mac McWilliams, the safety out of UCF. So do like this one as well, man. Like I said, man, Matthew Golden, he's going to be a little bit hit or miss, man, depending on who you talk to, right? Not as decorated, not as productive as T-Mac, Teteroa McMillan, or even Emeka Ibuka in certain cases, right? Or even a Luther Burden in certain cases. But Matthew Golden, he brings a lot in terms of just what you're projecting him being able to develop into, and his skill set ultimately being able to transition to this level. So I like that. You already know I talked about Talik Williams a lot. To me, man, I like his game. He reminds me of a little bit of Cam Hayward, man. Maybe it's still Ohio State vibes. I don't know. But big, nimble dude, man, and just knows what he's doing, man. So I like that. But I like the mindset as a whole. Me personally, I don't know if I want to double dip the running back room like that. But if this is, like I said, under the premise that we're going complete different direction, and we're just saying that Jaylen Warren is the only back that we have going forward, then yeah, I can understand that. But if that is the case, I don't want to wait till pick 163 and pick 231 to revamp my running back room. So that's the only thing for me that makes me a little bit kind of, pause for the cause with that, man. But like I said, man, I could definitely see what the vibe is in terms of what you are putting down. Phantom TV. All right. The Jimmy Horn Jr., man, that's a smooth little pickup late in the draft like that, man. I definitely like that. All righty. And then the final one I'm going to talk about today is from the homie Anthony Perrone. Hopefully I ain't butcher your last name. Now, Anthony went a different direction. This is why I like Anthony. He said, listen, man, I'm tired of all these high-end, prom kings, these diva wide receivers want to run down the grass. Man, I want somebody that's going to punch you in the mouth. I want somebody that's going to beat you in the trenches. I want somebody that's going to solidify this here run defense. That's what I want. Keep Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson free. That's what I want. And ultimately, that's what he is going out here to do. So shout out to Anthony Perrone. He goes Kenneth Grant, the interior D lineman out of Michigan first. And as we know, when we talk to CG, not to be confused with number 55, Mason Graham. He is the other one. Still a very good player, though, man. So I do like that. Then he's spinning the block, going double Big Ten action in the first 2 rounds, going with Travion Henderson, the big body, nice long speed running back out of Ohio State in the second round. Isaiah Bond in the third, wide receiver from Texas. Mr. I'm going to break the 40-yard dash record, and I'm only going to run 4.4 even. He still can roll. And that's the other part, man. So if you're talking about getting him in that third, I still think it's a lot of value there. I personally have to go watch more of Isaiah Bond. He came up a little bit more on my radar because of the whole combine stuff when he was talking and everything like that. But to me, man, just in the profile of speed, I like that because that's the one thing that you either have or you don't have. And dudes struggle with defending against speed. Hence the reason why, if you're a fast guy, man, you're going to get a lot more opportunities. So I do like that about Isaiah Bond. Denzel Burke, really good player, man, cornerback out of Ohio State. Mike Hood, you need to drop give us your scout report on Denzel Burke, man. I know you've been watching a ton of that Ohio State life over there, man. Antoine Powell-Ryland, nice edge rusher out of Virginia Tech. Do like him, man. Coached by my former D-line coach, J.C. Price as well, man. So I definitely am a fan. Going with a little bit of a hot name, Riley Leonard, depending on how you feel about him and what stage you were talking to him about. Yeah, man. But Riley Leonard, quarterback out of Notre Dame, is also who he took at 225. Then he went interior D lineman again with Jack Majors from Texas, and then gave us a tight end, man. Shout out to Luke Lacey. I think that's how you say his last name. Tight end out of Iowa. So with this here mock, man, we're getting my D tackles. I'm getting my trenches solidified. Kenneth Grant, that's a monster in the interior part. I think he could play the nose tackle. He could play the one technique. I don't love him out there as a 3 technique, but I think, man, as a 1, as a nose, so base, and even in some sub package stuff, at least on run situation, sub package ball, I think Kenneth Grant, man, definitely answers that call. We talked about Travion Henderson a lot. Definitely a fan of him. I like the speed that Isaiah Bond brings. I still would want to bring in a free agent wide receiver, though, of a higher pedigree, because I do feel like I'm still going to be wanting more just based off of Isaiah Bond and company right now. But Denzel Burke, like I said, definitely like that. Can never go wrong, man. We add into that edge rusher room. And like I said, man, at this stage, I'm assuming, once again, we're either Phils or Russ or free agency for a quarterback, because went Riley Leonard at 225, and there's no way we're waiting until 225 to pick a quarterback if we don't have Justin Fields or Russ or a legitimate name from free agency at quarterback. All right. So shout out to Anthony Perrone, though. So let me see what the gang had to say, man. Ooh, now Noriega says he likes Bond. He thinks Bond is better out of Texas. Golden just ran a faster 40, man. Keep it a buck. Yeah. And the reason why people like faster 40s is because at this level, speed kills, man. There are a lot of dudes that are, very skilled, but if this guy is closer in terms of he might not be as skilled, but he's a lot faster, yeah, the speed part usually is the separation. That's usually the difference maker, and that's why the 40-yard dash people put, in terms of NFL scouts, put so much more stock into it, because it's letting me know if your game truly can translate, or are you just, taking advantage of these collegiate level athletes who necessarily don't possess that type of speed, don't possess that type of playmaking ability. Speed is speed, man. But we will see, man. Now, he's All right, we'll see what Noriega, man. Noriega says that he thinks Matthew Golden is another version of John Ross. Like I said, we will see how that plays out, man. There are plenty of wide receivers, though, man, that have missed, and plenty of dudes that people have speculated weren't going to be good, and they clearly went on to have insane careers with a ton of production. So we will see how that plays out, man. But like I said, man, I like the different mindsets. I like the different avenues, and also I do got to say this, Noriega and company. We are, giving our thoughts, our critiques on these mock drafts, but these are from the congregation. So that means that y'all don't have to just be on the side pointing fingers. Nah, show your work too, baby. Show me how you would do it. Which players you would like. And that's for everybody. Send it to moatswinners@gmail.com so then we can put your work up here, man, and see how, the congregation feels about your drafting skills as well, man. But shout out to the gang, man. Shout out to Heck Santee. Shout out to Phantom TV and Anthony Perrone. So one more time, that was Anthony's draft. Let me pull up Phantom TV's draft, and y'all let me know, man, which one y'all liked better as well. And I know Cornell, I know you guys, man. Come on, man. I want y'all to send them in, baby. Hey, Noriega, send that thing in, man. Heck yeah, man. All right, and here is Heck Santee's draft as well. I love it. I think it's super fun, man, because it is always cool to hear or just kind of get an understanding of the different philosophies, the different mindsets of how somebody would go about building their roster, right? Do we like this player a little bit more, this style of, receiver, or do we want to go, man, we trying to build a power unit. We want big body on big body. We want to be able to beat you up in the trenches. Like, everybody has a little bit different approach. And it's also cool to just hear our difference of opinions on some of these players too, man. And that's the thing that I think when I was joking with TG, it's like, yeah, man, some of these dudes, we just assume, everybody's going to want them. Or we just assume that everybody's not going to want them. But think about how when me and TG got up here and started talking about Ashton Genty, I look at Ashton Genty and I think that that's a playmaker. I think that's a guy that, it is worth a first round type of grade on it, man, especially if the run that he's going to be running is fast. You feel me? But if not, then obviously that changes the dynamic of it, because you're questioning now, will the breakaway speed that you saw him displaying at Boise State be able to translate to the NFL, where you got a lot more guys out there running 4.4s and 4.5s and 4.3s than you do, in college. So those are the reasons why, like I said, that speed part is real, and why, like I said, for me, man, I enjoy this because, for some of these dudes, man, it's like, all right, if you're not fast, how are you going to survive? Think about how we look at linebackers. If you're a slow linebacker, we're like, you better be able to blitz, right? You better be able to blitz and make all the tackles because you can't stay on the field. You're too slow. So we've seen how fast linebackers are fast players, even though they're not the most technically sound. They get more opportunities because it's a fast man's game at this level, and speed kills. So that for certain is the big thing, man, and why you kind of hear me put a little bit more stock in the guys that do run faster times, because that's just one of the things that I do know has shown a lot more probability of translating. But like I said, man, we will see, man. And that's the beauty of the league, man. At one point, man, people told me I wasn't going to be good enough or wasn't be big enough. And it's like, you find a way. You figure out what you have to add to it. And before you know it, you look up and it's like, dang, you got how many years in this thing? Shout out, right? So when I look at them dudes, I say the same thing. It's like, man, we're going to have opinions on these dudes at this stage. But the reason also for me that you don't hear me have hard stakes of like, he will never make it in this league is because dudes develop, man. And you can't gauge the heart that these dudes have, their commitment to what their craft is, and just their ability to rise above. I mean, we talk about the Amon-Ra St. Browns, the Antonio Browns. Tom Brady's the poster boy of it, right? Where it's like, you weren't supposed to develop into what you developed into, but your hard work, your dedication, and your self-belief ultimately push you to that area, man. So we will see how that plays out with these dudes, man. But that is the beautiful part of the draft, man. And whenever we're getting a chance to, welcome new guys to that NFL brotherhood, man. So shout out to them dudes, man. And I'm eager and super excited, man, as we continue this here process, baby.